Yeah, so Charlotte's Web. What was the pig's name? Wilbur. And what's the spider's name? And the rat? Templeton. We have just gone back to our childhood days. Isn't that a miracle? Right? I thought it was adorable that they put that together. Sarah McLachlan singing that beautiful song. So today we're talking about, do you believe in miracles? And this song that we just heard and watched, it talks about miracles being ordinary. Now, the question I have is, are miracles ordinary or extraordinary? So, definitions, first of all, of a miracle. Number one is an effect or extraordinary event in the physical world that surpasses all known human or natural powers and is ascribed to a supernatural cause. Second definition, a highly improbable or extraordinary event, development, or accomplishment that brings very welcome circumstances. The third is an extraordinary event, manifesting divine intervention in human affairs. And number four is a marvel or a wonder. So the question, again, is, are miracles ordinary or extraordinary? And I'm going to be talking about that, but you're going to have to wait a little while. Isn't that great? Isn't that fun? So, who here has ever experienced a miracle? Anybody know somebody who has experienced a miracle? Okay. And now, was the miracle extraordinary or ordinary? Which one was it? Extraordinary, both. Ordinary. Oh, good. We're getting a collection of different responses. That's good, because we're going to look at this a little deeper. Next is that studies and polls show that actually 80% of Americans believe in miracles, regardless of their belief systems, their age, or their professions. So 80% of Americans basically believe there are miracles. Unity minister Reverend Tom Thorpe says, the laws of nature cannot be broken. Rather, it is our understanding of universal laws that is incomplete and sometimes inaccurate. I'm going to repeat that. The laws of nature cannot be broken. Rather, it is our understanding of universal laws that is incomplete or sometimes inaccurate. He continues, when events happen that do not conform to our present understanding of natural law, it's not surprising that we often call those events miraculous. I don't know about you, but I have not known what universal laws really were until I stepped into the new thought. We have physical laws like gravity, right? And electrical things, and there's all these various laws physical, but I did not get taught what universal laws are. And part of our laws are taught by all the spiritual masters. In fact, they all say the same thing, just say it differently. So I would, in this book, that the 12 Conditions of a Miracle, the Miracle Worker's Handbook by Todd Michael, he also states, miracles are poorly understood. Often we think of them as events in which the laws of the universe, the laws of cause and effect, are somehow circumvented. A miracle occurs when something impossible happens. We believe this about miraculous events only because we fail to understand the processes of cause and effect that enable them. There's that word, understand, again. We are very much, he says, like Neanderthals observing an eclipse. Because we lack the proper knowledge, we rationalize that what we observe in peculiar spiritual natural terms when in fact what this transpires, I'm having a good time reading today, that's if I can read, that would be a miracle, which transpires as an entirely natural explanation. So again, what is being said is that there are laws that we don't necessarily understand. And so therefore, he's basically saying, as is the minister here, is that they're basically ordinary. They can't necessarily be extraordinary unless we don't understand the natural law. So, ordinary miracles. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, miracle stories, and one of them is the miracle that became the beginning of unity. Did you know that this whole entire organization was founded on a miracle? Basically, Myrtle Fillmore in the 1800s had tuberculosis. She tried every single way to get to be cured, and because it was basically fatal, and she basically had a death sentence. She went to Chicago and she heard a lecture by E.B. Weeks, and she came away with that understanding, a new thought, which she said, which was, I am a child of God. I do not inherit sickness. I'm a child of God. I don't inherit sickness. For the next 2 years, she talked to her body. She apologized to her body. I have done that myself when I have been critical of my body. Anybody ever been critical of your body? Come on now. We get all these advertisements of what we need to be, and we judge our bodies. But our bodies are just doing their job. And so I have written letters to my body and apologized for being critical. I've asked my body, what does it need? And then I have my body right back. If you have an ailment in your body, a knee, a shoulder, a knot in your shoulder, anything, stomach issues, there is an opportunity for you to talk to the divine intelligence that is in every cell of our bodies. But we weren't taught to listen or to ask, what if your body could speak to you? What would it say? Trust me, when you do this process, something will come out of it. Your body is going to be telling you the truth that we sometimes ignore. Hello, I know I have. Ignored things that my body has said. But Myrtle, she talked to her body. She thanked it. She asked it what it needed. She gave every part of her body, she just thanked it for all that it was doing. Instead of focusing on the things that weren't right, she focused on every part of her body that was operating well. 2 years went by. She was completely cured of tuberculosis, and she lived another 40 plus years. That is how unity got started, because people came and wanted to know what was she doing that had caused this miraculous cure. And so she just told them basically that they're children of God and they don't inherit sickness, and to talk to your body and give it love. It has ears. It has not just these ears. It's listening to our words. So we need to be gentle. We need to be loving, apologetic, and talk to our body, and not just talk to it, but listen to what it has to say. Trust me. If you do this writing exercise, I believe you'll be amazed. Another miracle story. How many of you have ever heard the name Anita Moorjani? She has written the book, Dying to Be Me. And her story is that she had stage 4 lymphoma, and basically all of her organs were shutting down. And she went into a coma. And during the time that she was in this coma state, she was able to hear what her brother was saying as he was flying to the hospital. She could hear what the doctor was saying down the hall. She met up with her dad, who had already passed, and they had some conversation. And he actually told her, Stop, don't come any closer. Don't come any closer because you won't be able to go back. And she said, well, why would I want to go back to a cancer-filled body? And she had so many revelations that happened. And and this book will share that. This is one of my highly recommended books, Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. Moorjani is Moorjani. And it's her journey from cancer to near death to true healing. Wayne Dyer, when he heard her story, he said, you have to write a book. So she wrote the book. There's a foreword in here. She and Wayne Dyer went on tour together, and Wayne has made his crossing. However, she is still out there on the road, and someday I'm going to meet Anita Moorjani and ask her to come here. Heck yeah. I have this intention, and it's up to Spirit, how Spirit wants to bring it forth, but I already trust it. So she went into this coma state. She came back, and the doctors were totally amazed because all of the lymph nodes that were swollen and filled with cancer, it was gone, completely healed. They called it miraculous something or other remission, and she said it was basically the divine intervention. She also called cancer her friend because she realized this one, there's a few things that she said, there's actually a lot she says, but she said it was her spiritual magnificence unexpressed. And I went, I am going to express my spiritual magnificence everywhere I go and recognize there's a spiritual magnificence in all of us, but we've put our lid on it. Yesterday, I facilitated a celebration of life service, and the son, he talked about dementia, and she had it for 15 years and continually went down into the different layers of dementia. But one of the things that was a benefit is she became free. She would sing in the car with the music. She was just uninhibited, okay? I don't think we need to have dementia to be more uninhibited, personally, to let your spiritual magnificence shine. And I have one little reading that I want to do from her book that is another one of those things, but this one blew my socks right off, so I hope my socks stay on this time. All right, I think we're right here. She said, before my near-death experience, probably because of my culture, she lived in India, I used to think that the purpose of life was to attain nirvana. That is, to evolve beyond the reincarnation cycle of birth and death, striving to never come back into the physical. If I'd grown up completely immersed in the Western culture, maybe I would be trying to get to heaven. This is actually a fairly common goal, regardless of culture, to live in such a way as to secure a perfect afterlife. Okay? So she talks more, and I'm not going to read all this, but she says, what if all our goals are the wrong way around? What if heaven or nirvana is actually here in physical expression and not there in the afterlife? Okay? This is heaven. Did you know that? That we are living right here, right now in heaven. And we could be missing it because we're thinking, well, life is not so good. But this is heaven because all the souls want to come here because here in this physical form, we have emotions. When you're in that blissful place of we're all one, she talks about, she senses that we choose to incarnate into a physical body in order to express love, passion, and the full range of other human emotions not available to us separately in the state of pure awareness and oneness. What if this life on this planet is the main show, where the action is and where we want to be? I was like, what? I was so blown away by that. I had to chew on that for days. So I'm giving you something to chew on, right? Think about it. This is heaven. Wherever you are, what happens when you start to realize physicality is actually heaven? Does that do anything to your mind? Does it make you go, huh? Makes me say that. What if this is heaven? I don't want to miss that I'm actually in heaven. Interesting, right? Anita Morjani. She has such great stories to tell, and it's all about self-love. I have one last story. And a man, he was driving from Canada into the U.S., and he got pulled over in customs. And they started searching through his car to just check things out. And they noticed this big plastic jug in the back of his car. And the officer said, what's this? And the man said, oh, that's there is miracle water from Canada. And the officer pulls the lid off and smells it, and he goes, that's liquor. And the man said, oh dear, the miracle's already happened. Right? Got to have some fun and laughter. So do you believe in miracles, right? And is there a way that we can become more prepared for miracles? And when I was in Hawaii, the big island, traveling by myself back in 2015, the voice of the divine spoke within my mind and said, you know, you only have to do 3 things in life. I'm like, really? And it said, and it's an acronym. I'm like, okay, that's even better. So the acronym is PATTY, P-A-T-T-Y. P-A stands for, the first thing, pay attention. Pay attention. There could be miracles happening, but if I'm not paying attention and looking for the stuff that's not working, maybe I'm going to miss the miracles. So first of all, pay attention, P-A. The T stands for trust. You trust that miracles are happening. You believe that miracles are happening, right? If you believe it, you'll receive it. So T, trust that universe is bringing forth miracles everywhere all the time. So you got P-A, T, and then T-Y stands for thank you. You want to be in gratitude, thanking the universe for all the miracle things that are happening, whether they're ordinary or extraordinary. There's miracles happening, so saying thank you. So I started to adopt this thinking. And then the voice within my head said, but I'm a little bit Irish. It's oh, Patty. Oh, Patty, you must be open. Pay attention, trust, and say thank you. And open means to be like a child, because children see everything from miracle eyes. I sometimes play with this idea, like I've never been here before. And those things spinning around on the ceiling, what are those? Like if you just arrived from another planet, would you be in wonder and amazement? I mean, that was the 4th definition of a miracle. Can we have these ordinary miracles and still have the eyes of a child going, wow, water is coming out of this sink, you know? This box is keeping the food cold. What are these things with these round things spinning around and people are getting into them? I mean, honestly, everything can be a miracle, right? So are miracles extraordinary or ordinary? Back to the question. Or, as I heard somebody say, are miracles both? Okay, so no laws can be broken, but can I have an ordinary miracle and still be in wonder? Right? It's a child shall lead them. You must be like childlike in order to the kingdom of heaven. Stop the thinking. Just live in the wonderment of life. Albert Einstein states, there are only 2 ways to live your life. One as though nothing is a miracle. The other as though everything is a miracle. I'm going to say it again. There's only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other, that everything is a miracle. Do you believe in miracles? Well, this question is up to you to decide. Do I believe everything's a miracle or nothing? Do you believe in miracles? I do. You're a miracle. You're a miracle. You're a miracle. We are each an individualized expression of divine love. Each one of us is a miracle. You may not have ever heard that before, but I recognize that you're a miracle. You cannot not be. You are the divine in expression. We are all miracles. Do you believe in miracles? You will believe in miracles. You will have miracles when you believe. And so it is.